I don't think we'll ever get away from the nature of food is such that regulation is always going to be a part of it, and it's the dynamics of regulatory systems across the globe, because so a natural way to say this is say, well, the thing you're going to have to worry about more than anything is the global competition. But I think global competition manifests itself in things like understanding the differences in borders as it relates to regulatory issues, and how do we deal with moving product from one space to another, and protecting and respecting the sovereignty of each individual country and their preferences of the people within that country, and yet being able to still be able to do business. That's one of the biggest issues, I think, as it relates to global, is how do we deal with these borders and be able to have freedom to operate and yet respect the sovereignty of that country and its people for what it wants to do. I don't see that going away, and of course we already face that in the industry, but I think it's just ratcheting up. So that's one thing. The second big issue is the changing dynamics of the farmer. So that producer that we deliver to is they're shrinking in number and growing in size and sophistication, and they're also growing in terms of differentiation in their strategies of what they're trying to do to pursue differentiation in their own business. And that means that we have fewer of them who are larger, who also have different needs. And so the dynamics of the marketing of our products and how we fit into the value proposition for different farmers in different regions of the world with different business models trying to deliver value in different ways is an increasing challenge for us to figure out how to do that. What does it manifest itself in? Probably different products for different farmers in different regions with different places, which means supply chains are stretched because our SKUs are increasing dramatically, and our bigger footprints of our seed companies are having to have more refined focus in different regions and different areas for different things. That makes the complications of the overall operations of the seed company more difficult to manage. So that's another part of that big issue. So we could go on and on and on with the list, but I'd say one of the big issues is how do we deal with the global movement of supply around and protecting our freedom to operate, but also the sovereignty of the individual countries. And the second thing is that marketplace that we face in delivering to those farmers and how that's changing dynamically and what that means for the operations of our businesses. The Center for Food and Agricultural Business is part of the Department of Agricultural Economics, and our focus is on agribusiness industries broadly, seed being one of those focuses, but we focus on the retail channel piece of that industry. We work on the machinery side of the business as well, and so we're constantly thinking about and doing research on changing dynamics of the agricultural industry and the implications for the different pieces of the agribusiness industry that all come together to ultimately deliver this value of food, energy, and clothing to the world. And so we have 42 faculty in this department, and those 42 faculty are constantly working on these sorts of issues and the implications they have for the industry. And so right now, one of the things, for example, that we've been working on in more recent times is really trying to understand the dynamics of land. And why should all of agribusiness worry about that? Well, the farmer's primary resource is the land as they grow crops. We've got to worry about what's the dynamics of that farmer trying to get access to that land, control of that land, how much of their resources are being tied up in the land itself, so the price of land and how much money are they having to put into the land, because the more money they're putting into the land, the less it's available to make the choices on the technologies that we're trying to bring from the other parts of the industry into that farming activity. And so we've been doing a lot of research lately to try to understand better what's going on with land dynamics and what's the implications for that here in the Midwest, in the U.S., in South America, and Africa, what's happening in that area as it relates to land, for example. And interestingly, the land-grant universities in the U.S. Have always had this mission to serve the people of the state and to serve agriculture within a state. All the land grants have done that. But what we noticed at Purdue was that over time, the focus on commercial agriculture at the land-grant universities broadly, and when I define commercial agriculture, I mean effectively think about it as those producers, those 20% or so of producers that produce 80% of the world's food. right? It's that group of producers that the land-grant universities have increasingly sort of fallen behind in their ability to deliver educational activities and research that really matters to those to that part of production agriculture. And so we started the Center for Commercial Agriculture, which has a focus on what are the critical issues that are important to that group of agriculture that produces the largest majority of the food for the world. And that's exciting for us because we are interacting now with these very progressive farmers. Some say, well, it's a focus on the large farmer. Well, actually, size doesn't matter to us. It can be a 600-acre farm, but it's a farm where the business is a very professional business, and they're trying to really deliver high-value products and deliver value that they can then capture and turn into growing business for them. So size doesn't matter to us. In terms of commercial agriculture, even the type is. We don't have any problem with whether it's somebody who's using conventional farming practices or genetically enhanced farming activities, or if they're doing organic. Are you in the business of commercial agriculture, running a agribusiness company who's focused on production and really is cutting edge in technology and trying to learn the management skills that are needed to run an increasingly complicated business? And so we're interacting with that set of people at a different level than the land-grant university has typically done, because the Center for Commercial Agriculture has this core focus on this idea of management education, which is what we do in the ASTA Management Academy, what the Center for Food and Ag Business has done for a long time, and saying we're going to do management education, but our focus is on the production, the farm activity. That's really exciting for us overall, because I think it helps us even in the Center for Food and Ag Business, because now when the seed industry's here, we have our faculty in our center that's focused on the farmer that really brings good, valuable information back to that part of the industry as well, and vice versa. And so we're pretty excited about that activity that we're pursuing in the department as well. Of course, there's lots of things, but I can tell you that the thing that always strikes me is that, and perhaps we understand this in the seed industry, but I wonder sometimes if we really get it. Right? Farms today are multi-million-dollar agribusiness companies, just like our seed companies, right? Where the difference tends to be is that they have all the same, the farmer has all the same issues that any multi-million-dollar agribusiness company would have. They got HR issues, they got finance issues, they got marketing issues, they got all the areas that you have to deal with. In any company, every farmer has the same issues, right? The difference is they don't have any specialists. So most of the companies that they work with that serve them, they have an HR specialist, they have a marketing specialist, they have salespeople, they have finance people, they have, right, the seed companies will have these people. Okay, the farmer has themselves and their two partners. And what are they? Everything. Chief, cook, and bottle washer, right? And I think that what a farmer probably wants more than anything is for their seed people to appreciate that the farmer wears so many different hats and has so many things that they have to do to run their multi-million-dollar agribusiness, that if you can provide value to them by simplifying that part of their decision-making process in a way that really adds value for them, that they know they're getting the right technologies in the right place in the right time in a way that doesn't take so much of their time to make that decision, that the real value of that is an appreciation for the fact that the farmer has so many other things that they also have to be managing. I think that's the thing we hear more than anything, is that farming has become so complicated, and that there's the technology piece, and seed brings that technology piece, and frankly, we've made that more complicated over time, right? With all the things that we've got and all the SKUs that we think are complicated running our seed business, well, those number of SKU choices have made the farmer's problem on that side a lot more complicated also. At the same time, they're getting more complicated in terms of the overall size of their business, and now they're managing people where they might not have done that before, and that becomes more complicated. And their financial structure is one that's made up of owned assets and rented assets and borrowed money and equity money and money that's family money that's from other places that's made that part of the business work. Everything has become more complicated for them. And so what I think we hear more than anything is, can our suppliers, our partners in this business appreciate the complexities for us and figure out ways to help partner with us in ways that make our job simpler, because we don't have the staff of 50 people who specialize in these different areas.